Alrighty, good morning everyone. Hope you're doing well. Happy fucking all-time high. It's been a grind. Today I've got with me a good friend and a legend in the space. If you don't know him, what are you doing? Trader Mercury, thank you for joining us once again, brother. Welcome back.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Can we get a mic check?
Yeah,
How's
let
my
me
mic
know.
sound on your guys' end?
Let me know if he's a little low. I'm gonna turn off the background audio for today. No background music. Yeah, I turned it off. I turned it all the way off. All right, everyone in chat was like, "That shit's too loud."
Please bring down the music. It's too loud.
We're gonna keep it off today so that the audio is all good. When it's just me, Merc, I like to keep some background audio on so that it's not stale when I stop speaking. But when you're here, we don't need that.
Yeah, I feel you. I would do that, but I feel as though it bothers too many people.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own, I guess. I like it because like I don't like sitting here listening to my own voice, so at least I get to listen to music at the very least, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah. I drive myself insane. It's too late for me though.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no
Anyways,
going back.
how you doing, man? How you feeling? We're at all time highs. It was a crazy grind for 8 or 9 months, losing track of time. But the message was the same. It's just kind of like survive, and we did so, and positioned off the lows, and we're ready, man. It's
Dude,
poetic.
it feels incredible. It does feel poetic. It is the entire epitome as to why we're all here, and it's unfolding right in front of our eyes. So like, if you're not excited about this, then what are you doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember one of the videos that we did was all the way back in like October, right after we had broken out of that 7 month long range. And I remember your words exactly, specifically, were like, now all we have to do is see what the range breakout does and like let it do its thing. And it's the exact same kind of vibe here. It's literally like we're just repeating it over and over again.
You know,
So same concepts, same philosophies, just dude, turn your brain off, target higher, less is more, let your winners run, and come back when trends start breaking down.
yeah, 100%. I don't know if I like curse the market or like bless the market, but I said this thing in January of this year, and I was like, man, I really hope that we just repeat 2023 because I want this bull market to last longer. And throughout the year, I was like, am I in the matrix? We're doing the exact same thing. We're getting the same FUD. We're getting the same time frame. We're getting the same range. We even got like a loose, inclination of strength, which was, Trump supporting Bitcoin. That's synonymous to like the BlackRock filing the ETF. And then later on, we start grinding up and start pricing in that ETF until we range break. And that was kind of the same thing with Trump in the elections this time. So it's wild how it kind of worked out 1 to 1, and it just feels like run it back, right? And we all know what followed the range break, and here we are once again.
Yeah, man, it's really incredible. I'm absolutely euphoric, and I'm very optimistic, and I've been a perpetual optimist throughout the range, but I've been an obnoxious bull poster for the past 2 months or so, ever since seeing strength.
Yeah, I saw your tweet. That's like you guys are terrible at bull posting. I'll show you how it's done when the
Dude,
time is right.
absolutely, absolutely fucking awful at bull posting. Sitting here screaming, "Oh, buy the dip, have fun staying poor. Oh, this is a bottom. Oh, this is the bottom. Oh, we swept the low of the last sweep of the lows that wasn't a bottom. Surely this one is." It's like, dude, you guys suck at this.
You know
So
what's
yeah, it was when I see the trigger, when I feel as though it is go time, when we are ready, when the context shifts, it's gonna be, we spent 8 months trading in a range. It's gonna be quite obvious when it's time to go risk on. And I'm saying that with just as much adamancy today as anyone who has been following me for the past 2 months knows that I've been obnoxiously gigabull posting and making sure, even on my honeymoon, dude. I was on my honeymoon and I made sure to log in every single day and giggle bull post. And that was during like this little drawdown here. And I'm like, dude, just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Like, we're still inside the range. This is still higher highs, higher lows in the weekly. Everything's fine. Just zoom out, let it do its thing. You're gonna probably do best by just being patient. And then I'm not kidding you. I practice what I preach. People would come in and say, so what are your positions? What have you done? Like, are you adding more? Are you actively trading a lot? I'm like, guys, I positioned a month ago. I have not taken a trade in 30 days. Watch me outperform. And, it's just getting an inclination for like what is the market environment. And in 7 years of experience at this point, I do feel as though my discretion is a little bit of an edge because I've seen this price action before. And kind of as you alluded to, we saw this in October 2023. It's literally, we're just running back the same exact playbook. So if the philosophies and concepts worked back then it should work again, right? It's long-term winning philosophy, just letting the trend do its thing, allowing the bull market to, rage, and trying your best to not step in front of your own success and shoot yourself in the foot. So if that was the same philosophies and concepts that worked back then, and it's long-term winning philosophy, then when we're trading in, right beneath all-time highs and we threaten a, continuation 4-year cycle, global liquidity projection, we're gonna, move right in tandem with it. It already broke out. Rate cuts being bullish, obviously, because prices continuously trending higher, Q4 seasonality. Like, there's so many arguments as to why you didn't have to overthink it. It was right there in front of your face. And, it's really as simple as we're making higher highs and higher lows in the weekly time frame. So this is a higher low. Sorry, excuse me. This is a higher low on the weekly. In hindsight, after at the time the high time frame trend portrayal that I was using was 2-hour 200 moving averages. So if this is a very nice high time frame trend, then theoretically, if we are downtrending on the weekly, every single time that we lose that trend, we should continue just making lower lows across the board. So that was the assumption this time around. It was also the assumption the time prior, and it was my assumption this time too. So what that means is I'm wrong. I'm targeting 50K and below 50K, and I'm wrong. We never get there. That is a pleasant surprise because instead, what we do is, in hindsight, after having locked in a higher low on the weekly, we show strength. So that's my, context, and that's my discretion where it kicks in and says, hold on, wait a minute. This is different than anything we've seen the past 3 months. So now I put out another tweet that says, I guarantee you the same people that didn't want to hear me talk about how this is a lower high on the weekly that might lead to a lower low, those same people are going to come back to remind me that we're still forming lower highs on the weekly. Right? So what does that tell me? If they're going to come back and say, no, don't you see that you're an idiot? We're still making lower lows and lower highs. Like, that's not a higher low. We're not going to go higher. You're falling for the same trick, for the past 8 months. Like, if that's what they're going to come back and tell me, and the obnoxious bull posters, prior to me where, oh, look at this bull div. Oh, now it's a bigger bull div. Oh, we swept the lows of the last sweep of the lows. And it's like, those people have also given up. Man, I've seen this before. I've seen this very high time frame trend shift just in October 2023. We can just use that as, the proxy alone. And that is a good enough reason to make me think that this time is different. So it's that context. If we're able to reclaim that high time frame trend, what's really stopping us from making a higher high on the weekly? I would assume nothing. So thereafter, when we make a higher high on the weekly, it's like, okay, so now what's going to stop us from getting to range highs? Well, I would assume nothing, right? Nothing's really going to stop us unless we start breaking down below this general region. We start expanding below here. Then I can start to assume, okay, yeah, I'm wrong. I fell for it. I'm an idiot. It was a bull trap, whatever. But what's going to stop us from getting to to range highs if we're uptrending on the weekly chart? And I would assume nothing. And if we get to range highs in Q4 and global liquidity is already broken out and Larry Fink is still shilling our bags and all these other bullish arguments, what's going to stop us from expanding away from an 8-month-long range into new all-time highs? I would assume nothing. So it's like, it's a domino effect. And so based off of the 2-hour chart, I'm assuming that we go into a raging bull market. And then it happens. And now I'm luxuriously positioned. Now it's just a matter of like, this is easy mode. This is Minecraft on peaceful. The only way that you die is due to your own stupidity, right? You fall off a cliff, you jump into lava. So just like, don't do those things. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah. I think there's 2 paths to like analyze this range and how you could have positioned for it. One is obviously the structural argument. Let me pull up my chart here once again. Another is the starting point where you pointed out with the higher low, right? Along this high time frame kind of downtrend that we had on the daily and the weekly. We had our worst kind of event right here, right? That was the Japan yen carry trade blow up that took, I think, 99% of us by surprise. I don't think that many of us in crypto are locked into macro, and even those in TradFi probably got taken by surprise a little bit. The VIX went to historic highs. This was the moment, right? If we're going to get a surprise in markets, this is the moment where bears have the most fuel, right? They've got the narrative behind them. They've already got the structure behind them. Now they've got fear. Why were they not able to break us down, right? And if you remember back in this chop right here, people were looking for 53. We traded to 53. We traded to 53. We traded to 53. This is the moment where if bears are going to do anything, they've got all the momentum. They've got the momentum. They've got the structure. They've got the narrative. They've got the fear. This is where they break us down. If they're failing to do so, I can kind of read between the tea leaves there and go, well, what stopped us? What stopped them? Why are they not breaking out? Why are we retracing these high delta moves to the downside? Extremely high volume to the downside. Why are they not able to break us down? This is a moment for me to be like curious about all of this and go, if we're not going to break down, just like at FTX when we got the worst event of all time along this bear market, we're only trading, 5-8% lower than Luna and 3AC? We should be a lot lower, right? Just like over here, where, we're getting capped at 30K, we're getting a liquidation event, this structure is kind of trading down, we're getting distributive. Why are we not trading lower? Why are we able to hold these lows and grind up higher over several months? That same kind of mindset should be in everyone's, everyone should kind of be thinking about that from an optimist point of view of why aren't we trading lower, right? And I think, order flow traders say this a lot of like, it's often what doesn't happen that's more important than what does, right? And you can kind of apply this to like news, trends, structure, momentum. And it'll be the same in reverse, Merc. Like one day we're going to be trading up so high, and we're going to be getting bullish news after bullish news after bullish news, and price is going to fail to make higher highs and higher highs and higher highs, and that momentum is going to wane. And we're going to be looking at this and going, that's probably a warning sign. So I think there's a couple ways to analyze this. And then the last thing I want to say before I pass it back off to you is I've played these range breakout in two ways. Last year, I was underpositioned during these lows, and I had to play the catch up. And I just trusted the trend trading strategies. I was like, I have cash. We get 4-hour trend tags. We get daily trend tags. I'm adding exposure. We're getting retests. We're getting breakouts of really strong ranges. Like we saw Ethereum break out of a 3-month range. We don't want to fade these. We don't want to fade this breakout and this momentum, especially with Bitcoin trading at all-time highs. So I think if you're behind the curve and you're like underexposed, there's still so much opportunity in this market. I don't think there should be like fear in people's minds of like, I'm buying a top. You got to, at a certain point, you got to trust what you came to crypto for. You came for this, right? And you don't want to look at this in mid-curve and go, yeah, I'm not buying that, right?
Yeah. People always tell you you have to buy low and sell high, but really the true nature of bull markets is you have to get comfortable with buying high and selling higher. Like you really just have to be comfortable doing that. And I'm going to assume, give everybody the benefit of the doubt that because we're all crypto natives, we are directly being benefited by prices going higher to some degree, just like directly, just because we have spot bags, just because at some point in the past 8 months, you probably, accumulated a little bit of Bitcoin or maybe, a little bit of your favorite altcoin that you're in the Telegram community for, or like whatever, right? Like I can imagine, Doc, I would imagine you've been adding to your Pepe bags at some point
Oh, yeah.
in the past 8 months.
Yes, I have.
So like, just directly, like people tend to like lose sight of the like bigger picture. Larry Fink is out there shilling our bags, and he's out there telling people that maybe they should allocate 2 or 3% of their overall portfolio to Bitcoin. And then I have people coming to me and saying like, "Hey, I'm underexposed. I only have 30% of my portfolio allocated to Bitcoin. Like, what would I do?" Like, FOMO is in your head, man. It doesn't really exist. Everybody that has traded a bull market cycle knows eventually there comes a time where not only, like you said, Coinbase IPO comes out, we stop getting bullish news and the market can't even react to that, right? But there also comes a time where you are so drained mentally and you're so tired of making so much money that you start to go into your group chats with all your friends and go, bro, please just give me like 3 months of down only. Please just range for like a month or two.
Yeah.
Please just give me a deeper pullback. Like I just need a break. There's too much opportunity. This is taking up too much of my time. So much of my, energy and mental effort is going towards markets. Please give me a break. So there's always something to complain about, which means that you flip that on its head. There's always something to be, happy about. There's always something to be looking forward to. So that's why I say be a perpetual optimist.
You know, that famous tweet from early 2023 from DGen Spartan that's like, you don't own enough coins in the industry that that's going to go up, that you log into every day regardless because it's going to go up, but you don't own enough coins because you're a little bitch. Well, I thought about that deeply in the September lows, right around the start of September, and I go, it's been 4 or 5 months that I've been heavy cash. It is time for me to start looking for opportunities again. It's only a matter of time. And just, actioning that thought process, I think was very beneficial as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a shame, man. It really is. It's that Degen Spartan tweet where he's like, your greatest risk is being underexposed to the industry that you log in every single
Yeah,
day to.
that's
And
what I
it's
was
like,
talking about. I did a poor
dude,
job explaining that
man,
tweet.
you absolutely nailed it, dude. Like that tweet is gonna go down in history because he's right.
Yeah.
Like it's an absolute shame that we spent 8 months of ranging and people are like, oh, I feel sidelined. What would you do if you were me? Dude, I don't know what I would do if I were you, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not willing to allow myself to be in that position. I understand that I do have an emotional attachment to these assets. And if they do rip 30 or 40% in the span of a few days and I'm unable to catch that move, like yeah, I'm going to be kind of all over the place. I'm going to be, very emotional about it. So I don't know what I would do if I were you because I'm not willing to be you. I'm not willing to be in that position. So like I don't know what to tell people in that case. Maybe wait until the next 8 month range. You'll do better next time, champ. Like, but really the message is like, dude, in bull markets there is so much fucking opportunity. You are going to be overwhelmed. Like, let's not forget that after October 2023, people had the complaint of, I don't know, where I'm supposed to be allocated. There's too many sectors popping off right now. We have ordinals that are popping off. We have Solana, right? And all these other L1s like AI memes and other meme coins. But then we have Solana ecosystem and all of the meme coins inside of there. And then we have ordinals and NFTs inside of Solana ecosystem and all these other plays. And oh, and then on top of that, there's these new coins coming out, right? Here's modularity narrative. And in addition to that, there's staking, right? And dude, it was just like the complaint was, and I remember Hisaka even. Hisaka is a multi-cycler, right? He's been here for a while. And Hisaka put out a tweet that was like, I need to hire interns. Like, I don't have enough hands, I don't have enough eyes, I don't have enough time in the day to keep up with how much opportunity is out there in this market. And then we fast forward, man, and we get to August of 2024, and I have to hear people that I look up to and admire complain about how this is the worst bull market ever. And it's like, dude,
I
your
low
issue
key.
is always going to be. Sorry,
No,
I'll
no, no.
let
Go
you
ahead. Go
talk.
ahead. Go
I know
ahead.
I'm running.
I thought you were saying.
But your issue is always going to be, I didn't keep enough of what I made in the bull market. It's never gonna be I didn't make enough in the bull market. Because like we said, probably more than likely the people that are watching this stream are like, oh, I'm underexposed. I feel underexposed. I feel sidelined. You probably are not actually, but it's just when you pertain it back to crypto natives that are degenerates and are 100% allocated their entire net worth in addition to being levered long. Like, yeah, sure, you're underexposed in that regard, but like you're probably going to do well. You just need to make sure that you keep it
Yeah.
so that you don't have that complaint about being, oh, this is the worst bull market ever. After what is obviously 2 years of up only, very glorious days, I'm very grateful for the past 2 years. I do not have that complaint. So, goal is to not have that complaint either
I
when it's all said and done.
I don't have a great reference point because I came into crypto from TradFi kind of middle of last cycle, right? I bought my first Bitcoin 2020 on Thanksgiving. They had we had a little correction below all-time highs. Let's see if I can find it quickly. But either way, I came in a little late and I thought to myself, I'm a little late for this cycle. I'm a little overwhelmed. I don't understand altcoins that well. And I learned throughout this cycle, right? I didn't take too much risk. I stayed with the safer side. I heavily exposed to ETH and Bitcoin. I didn't play too many alts. So I look at this cycle as kind of my first cycle. That's how I approach it. And so I don't have a reference point to say this, but to me, this is the greatest bull market. This was phenomenal opportunity. This is very clear-cut narratives where you can position into. I'm still showing your chart. There's very clear-cut narratives to position into where you just don't have to mid-curve, right? Whether we say it's ordinals, whether we say it's Solana, whether we say it's Ethereum on-chain season last year, the Telegram bot meta. We have such clear narratives to position into, and then you have clear-cut signals of Bitcoin's going up, we're strong, play the risk curve. Bitcoin's momentum is stalling. Maybe take a second and remove some of that risk. Bitcoin's stalling to the downside. Maybe add that risk back on. And we've had this since FTX bottom. We've been in one consistent massive uptrend since FTX with multiple risk on and risk off sessions where you can have the opportunity to not only run it up, but to compound, right? Before, in other cycles, you didn't have that compounding opportunity. It was just kind of go, 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 go. All right, it's over, right? This time around, we've gotten multiple years of run it up, cash it in, wait for a pullback, wait for momentum to stall to the downside, re-risk, compound the gains from the last 6 months, rinse and repeat. I can't imagine a more opportunistic market than this cycle. This feels to me, like I said, I don't have the reference point, but this to me feels like a dream come true. And if we end this cycle with the traditional kind of blow off top or parabola, I mean, cherry on top, right?
Yeah, 100%. Man, I'm just getting excited over here.
I mean,
just getting very excited.
Bro, I mean, if this is the real all-time high break and whatever we got here was just the bait, we all know what happens when Bitcoin breaks all-time high. I think everyone has enough chart time to know what happens in all these years when we definitively break through all-time high and enter price discovery. So from here, it's just hold on tight and don't be a bitch when you get dips, man. That's an opportunity, right? One thing from my journal, I tweeted this out the other day because I was experiencing this too, along with my friends and a bunch of other people whose first time it was trading a bull market, is when we get these 1% shallow dips on Bitcoin, also bleed 5, 6, 7%, and you kind of go, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a back seat. Bitcoin can drop a little bit lower. I'll bid a little bit lower, and it continues chatting along, right? So every 1% dip, we look for the 5% dip. And then every 5% dip, altcoins will get obliterated, 10, 15, 18% down, and you'll go, it's over. And this thing will just continue chugging along for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, just take a look at any of these other times Bitcoin breaks out of a consolidation. So I don't think you're too late if you're underexposed. I think you're gonna have plenty of opportunities, but you got to seize those opportunities, man. You can't just keep looking at every single pump and have this mentality that you had over the last 8 months of, this is going to fail. This is going to round trip. I'm going to get stopped at my entry. I don't want to take this. I don't want to action this. It's up too much. It's pumped too much. Because this is what you came to crypto. You came for this moment. This is why you're here. This is why I'm here, Mercury. This is why I got involved in crypto, because it's like, man, I know what Bitcoin does when it breaks all-time high. Holy crap, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I think that's why a lot of people came in March. I think that's why probably you came originally to crypto as well. So that's what we're here for. Don't mid-curve it. And I'll just leave it there.
I totally agree. I always say crypto participants spend 100% of their time waiting for the 10% of the time that the market is absolutely euphoric, like manic bull market phase. It doesn't happen often. I know that when people talk about crypto, they think about like up only, 4-year cycles. It's just bull markets and rainbows and butterflies. But like, we know that that's not the case, right? We just got out of an 8-month agonizing, mundane, choppy range. Prior to that, we had 2 months of up only, but prior to that, we had a month and a half of ranging. And then, prior to that, we had 2 months of up only, but then prior to that, we had 7 months of ranging. So like, it's not really always rainbows, butterflies, dandelions. Like, you have to really make the most out of these market environments that, all of a sudden the amount of opportunities and the scale of which those opportunities are playing out, you might take a setup, something that is very bread and butter for your system in a 7-month long range, and maybe you yield 2 or 3 R from it. But you take that exact same setup, that exact same winning philosophy, a tried and true, thing that is part of your system and bread and butter, and in a bull market it might yield you 20 or 30 R. So it's like the scale of everything just gets dramatically, exponentially increased.
Yeah.
You just have to be able to think on that same scale. What I do want to say is when people think about, let me make the most out of this bull market, immediately their mind goes to, let me start risking way more than I have any kind of business, trading with. And that's not really the only way to try and extract a more efficient yield from a bull market. You can also just think bigger. You can also just, not take so much profit so early in the trend. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's time for us to be, greedy little shits and, 3x leverage our, refinanced house and bet our livelihoods on number go higher. Like, you don't really need that because now you are mixing in an extreme market environment with an extreme approach. So you're playing with fire. And then at that point, if you get burned, like we said, like it's Minecraft on peaceful. If you die to fall damage, that was due to your own stupidity. Like you just had to not fall off that cliff. So
You want to take some questions from chat? I've been kind of ignoring chat the whole time.
yeah, absolutely. I've been reading chat, but
Yeah.
dude, they're hilarious.
What do we think about in terms of targets for Bitcoin? 101K is 2 trillion market cap. I'm going to say something that I've been echoing for a few weeks now in like group chats. I don't know if I've said this, but I've probably tweeted it, but I haven't been like adamantly saying this. I honestly think our targets are too low. I think I tweeted this on Sunday and maybe one time before that, but I don't think you break out of an 8-month range at all-time highs and aim for a 50% or 80% move. I think you aim a little bit bigger. And I think throughout, the consensus target has been 100K, and I honestly think we're going to blow much, much higher past that. I think even Kobe tweeted this recently that the hard part is getting to 100K and the easy part is past it. So we might get a shakeout around there, but if that doesn't top us, man, we're probably going a lot higher. And if I have to put a number on it, I think we're going to flip all of the market caps of the tech stocks, the Microsofts, Apples, and NVIDIA. So I'm aiming like 160, 180.
I feel like that's a pretty good target. For me, I always target fib extensions. So in this case, I'm not sure if you're looking at my screen.
Yeah, pull it back up.
The fib extension, I just put out a tweet about this. The fib extension from the previous new all-time high to the cycle low back in November 2022, the 1.618 fib of that is actually 102K. So pretty much consensus with, a pretty basic target, 6 figures for everybody. But yeah, that is the fib target that I will use first. And the way that I use my fib extensions is these are just magic numbers on the chart that tell me, hey, this is a good place to start taking profit out of the market because you can't profit from markets unless you take profit. So it's not me like flipping bearish. It's not even really like, I don't think about it as a resistance level even. It's just, this is a random magic number on the chart to ensure that no matter what happens next, I am still going to be okay. If we pull back negative 30% into, a high time frame level support, into a trend pullback, whatever, I'm still fine. I can still, navigate that pretty comfortably and look for new opportunities and new positions and find exposure. And I can do that gracefully because I've already taken that profit. So unless we get to these fib targets or we break down below high time frame trends, I'm really not doing much. Like you said, kind of just have to let it do its thing. Yep. I can't imagine that an 8-month-long breakout at all-time highs is going to yield just a 50% move, and then that's it. And then we're done, and then that was the bull market, and, have fun staying poor. Like, I just don't see that really happening. I like to think directionally proportional. So if we're breaking out of an 8-month-long, kind of range, then I'm going to think directionally proportional. So the move that I'm targeting is, triple-digit percentage, multi-month kind of scale, that kind of stuff. So if you go look at the last all-time high breakout, we pulled a 115% move in 3 weeks, right after breaking out of that all-time high, after 20K. 3 weeks later, we were 115% higher. So it's like, I just don't get the point for seeing a breakout of an 8-month-long range in this context and then saying, oh, we got to 80K, that's cool, time to take profit. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't see that either. I gave kind of the target based on guesswork, and now my honest answer is gonna be, oops, wrong thing. My honest answer is gonna be you just wait for trend loss. When we were trading down here and we broke out of here, Mercury, did you think we're going all time highs? Because I didn't. Um, I basically just looked at the daily trend and I said, when the daily trend breaks, I think that's going to be a very strong moment to take risk off the table. So we got this twice. One time was a little bit easier to action because we did have the ETF going live, right? And the narrative for the entire rally going in was ETF, 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 ETF. So naturally, you're probably going to get a little bit of the sell the news, right? So it's easier to action. You can kind of front run the daily trend breaking. The next time, once again, everyone is max bullish. You know, we're trading above all-time highs. We set a new all-time high. We're starting to get momentum loss, right? We're getting the same kind of distributive type of price action as we got the last time. That to me is a case where, look, you've run it up so hard. Your altcoins are probably losing 4-hour trends, right? So they've been trading parabolically along a 4-hour trend. They've marked up 5, 6, 8x. And when they lose the 4-hour trend, there's going to be a big gap to the daily, right? Do you want to give up 40% or 30% or 35% of your gains holding on to this? And my answer would be no. Hold up. My answer would be no, right? So I'm just actioning these little moments. Okay, we've gone parabolic. We've lost a trend. We're going to get a nasty pullback. I don't want to hold this drawdown. If anything, I can reposition at the daily trend. And this naturally ends up turning into this kind of distributive junky price action until you end up losing the daily trends as well. So, you know, the rational approach or the systematic approach is just focus on trends. I mean, for now, I want to have really audacious targets and not set my sights too low.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what the philosophy is. Somebody was just asking in chat, why not use like trend breakdowns? If I'm a moving average trader, if I'm a trend trader, then why not use, just the trend breakdown as my invalidation? It's a good question, but like on paper and reality, those are two entirely different things. So if we go to this soul chart back in, the last bull market cycle, let's say that we are targeting, you know, crazy high fib extensions, and let's just say that this is the fib draw that we're using. So as we're trending upwards, hypothetically, I would be targeting the 1.618, 2.618, next fib, next fib, next fib, and we're getting to those levels, and that's cool and all. And that's why I'm taking profits because we're so damn high at this point that my UPNL is like unfathomable. In bull markets, it's 80/20. Well, really, in markets, it's 80/20. 20% of your input is going to account for 80% of your reward, and 20% of the time in markets is going to account for 80% of the yield or the wealth that you're able to extract from markets. So I need to be able to think what I say, think logarithmically. Think big. Don't think linear. I clearly remember people, I'm not kidding you. I remember people saying, I'm not going to buy Solana at $12 because just 2 weeks ago it was trading at 3. That's a 400% increase. Why would I buy Solana here? I'm not an idiot. I'm better than that. There's no way in hell I'm buying Solana. And then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, Solana goes up to $50, right? It's another 400% move. So you have to be able to think logarithmically, but navigating that logarithmic price action when you're up 10x, 20x, don't tell me that doesn't make you feel some kind of way. If that doesn't make you feel some kind of way, you're either built different or a word that can come off as offensive and I don't want to say it. So, like,
Say it.
it's not reality for me. No, there's no way, man. There's no way. I'm not trying to get canceled. No, there's no way though. Like I'm not doing that. I'm not Marcus Aurelius. Sorry. Like I'm not the most stoic person on earth. Like that's just not reality. So I have to take profit on the way up, and then of course logically this is a rational kind of way of thinking. When the high time frame trend breaks down, I'm out. So in this case for Solana, at the time it was 4-hour 200s. So if the 4-hour 200s are breaking, and I can clearly see that they're breaking at some point in this price action, I can gather myself and say, okay, we have been doing this for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever. We've gone up 10x in that time. This time is different. So then I can navigate the downside. But obviously heading into that, there's a, negative 20% pullback where you're losing a local trend and you're looking for that high time frame trend to be retested. So that is also an opportunity. Let's say that for whatever reason this fib target didn't get hit, it got front ran. That is also an opportunity for me to then go in and take profit, take some risk out of the market, just because something different has happened to some degree. Even if it's on a lower time frame, it still might allow me to navigate negative 20, negative 30% of drawdown. And if I can avoid that, and it's very seamless and very, straightforward as to why I can anticipate that move to happen, by all means, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, 100%. I think me and you have very similar takes as far as just ride the trend and look for, the trend that's carrying you along the parabola when it's lost, whether it's a 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute. You're going to get a higher time frame retest, right? And those high time frame trends, when they break down, you're going to get either a distribution or you're going to get a nasty correction, as you see like in the middle of your chart here on Solana. So something to be aware of. And through my experience in crypto so far, I've taken it both ways. I've done the take profit at scheduled regions on the way up, and I've done hold it all until the high time frame trend breaks. And for me, just holding it all until the high time frame trend breaks and maybe giving back 20% at the top, or if you're sleeping or something like that, is completely worth it, because the gains will far exceed the take profit at scheduled locations, at least for me in my experience in this market over the past 3-4 years.
I totally agree with that.
Do you
On
remember the
paper, it seems like.
I don't mean to cut you off, but real
You go
quick, do
ahead.
you remember the render trade that you took? I think it was like December or something like that. We were talking on stream. You're
Do I
like,
remember it?
yeah, you're like, I want the $3 entry
Do
or
I
something,
remember it? It
and
was one of my greatest trades of my career. Yeah, that streak there, that's what I'm talking about. Is like I had so many great trades, so many bangers. I cannot bring myself to sit here and complain that this is the worst bull market ever. I think that that is a flaw in the philosophy, in the way that you executed, right? Like, dude, if I'm positioning on INJ and I'm late to the INJ party, I got front ran like 3 or 4 times on my INJ positions, and some of which, like two of those front runs, were like by 0.5%. So like really tilting stuff. And if I'm able to catch INJ at $14 and then it goes to 40 in the next month or two, like I'm not gonna bring myself to complain about that stuff. If I can buy RNDR at $3, $4, and then 2 months later it's at 13, and the trend breaks down, by the time that the trend breaks down, it's at 11 or 12. Dude, I'm still walking away with 200% gains. Like there's no way in hell you're gonna bring me to be a perpetual pessimist about anything, because for everything that the market is doing today, there's always a complaint. The market's going up, oh, I want a pullback. The market's going down, oh, well, why is the market going down, right? But now you're being given your pullback. So, like, if there's always something to complain about, there's always something to look forward to. Be a perpetual optimist. You want to think bigger. You want to be bullish. You want to be respecting the trend. You want to be ready to go when pullbacks are given, and look for new opportunities to allocate risk in logical and rational manner. Not just, oh, we're up 20% today. I think this probably goes higher, and then you market ape, right? You haven't even wiped the crust out of your eyes that day. You're just like, oh, well, this looks like it's going to go higher. Now you're being lulled into losing mindset, and the market's job is to make sure that you can only think in one specific manner for whatever has happened. So the people that have, it took them too long to get used to an 8 month long range, and then after an 8 month long range has unfolded, they cannot fathom price starting to trend again. So the same way that that happens, and it kind of just like is the market lulling you into a very specific form of thinking, and that does the exact opposite. The exact same way that that happens, you're going to get used to uptrend. You're going to get used to buying pullbacks, and then they immediately create higher highs in the next few days, next few weeks, right? You're going to get used to that, but you have to be malleable and you have to be ready to adapt. So,
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Is there anything that's exciting you right now as far as charts? Any altcoins you're looking at? I know you mentioned to me before stream that you're kind of positioned and you're in kind of like do nothing mode, but is there anything that you're like, when this happens, I'll action this?
um, honestly, nothing that comes to the top of my mind. Um, really, if I'm gonna be totally honest, I've been trying to catch the next meme coin, like the on-chain shitters. I managed to run up a good account there through a couple different coins that I'm not going to shill to anybody, but I've since rotated out some of that profit, and I'm just looking for the next like hype narrative.
All right, let me
Um,
ask you this: are you team dog or you team frog?
well, you mean flog? Did you not want to? Did you not want to say it on stream?
No, no, no. I don't
Everybody
care
was
about
telling me
that.
to give you a hard time.
I think somehow or another ended up strongly Team Frog, and that's not, that wasn't on purpose. It was just, I believe Pepe is kind of the Mickey Mouse of the internet, if you will, right? It's the most recognizable meme, and the beta to that was the Apu trade, which popped the fuck off. I hope you got into that one. I remember DMing you one day. And then, Flog being like I think the greatest art that we've ever developed in meme coins here in CT. Like, even if it wasn't a meme coin, even if it wasn't tradable, man, I'd be posting that art all the time. Shout out to Grew who's posting all that stuff. I think it's pretty fucking sick.
I came into the stream. I just need everybody to know this. I came into the stream, and my main priority was getting you to say flog.
Yeah, I'm avoiding it. These guys clip my voice and make songs out of it in Paragon, man. I can't let them be satisfied.
It's incredible.
Hold up, I
No, I
gotta
do have a bag of that, and don't tell the Apu. Is it Apu? Apu? I don't know.
Apu, I
Don't tell
think.
that Apu.
Yeah,
Don't tell that community that I have a bag because they're absolutely obnoxious. I can't lie.
yeah.
The
I mean,
flawed community
100%.
is like great vibes, like amazing memes. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty awesome. Like I was telling you this in one of our chats, and I was like, dude, the memes that they put out, I'm like, why are you guys making memes about Flog? You should be working for Disney. You should be working for like some big company as like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, it's incredible. The APU community has done nothing but harass me for the past 2 years, and I finally bought a bag thanks to you, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a good beta trade on Pepe, right? It'll be the clear cut I missed Pepe trade. So the way that I'm positioned on Apu, or the thought process there, the thesis there is there'll be a moment where Pepe is going to flip ship. That's my highest conviction trade of this cycle. I'm sticking to that. I think it's going to happen. So if and when that happens, there's going to be a clear cut, narrative around I missed Pepe. What do I buy, right? And people naturally look for the beta, and I think Apu fits that really, really well. And it doesn't hurt that it's listed on Bybit, and it has perps, right? So I think people kind of flock to that coin when the time comes. So worth holding on to. But I agree with your sentiments there.
Yeah, I've been posting the same memes for like 4 years now, so I'm not gonna stop. But it felt bad to not catch Pepe when it first listed, so I'm trying to not repeat that behavior with Apu, as you say.
Yeah, I'll show you some meme coins that when they come across, when they come my way. I'm not really too much of a shitcoiner either. What I like to do is develop high conviction sized positions rather than kind of throw darts. I know there's people that are so good at you know putting 0.5% or a small percent of their portfolio in kind of gambling chips and looking for the 50x's. That's not really my strategy. I want to develop conviction. If I miss the first 10x, I'm okay with that. And then I'll size into a position once it's proven to me that it's broken apart from the pack. It'll be around for a little bit and throw some size into that and ride some trends. That's mainly the way that I get into it. So once something proves to me that it's not just a flash in the pan and it's gonna stick around, that's when I get in. I don't really care about oh, I missed the first 100x from 1 million market cap to 100 million market cap or something like that.
To answer your initial question, am I dog community or frog community? I'm a little bit of both. I can't lie. I have bags of both. I do have a bag of Doge.
Oh
I
my
had an
god,
amazing
Doge is
Doge trade
ripping.
earlier. I had an amazing Doge
Jesus
trade
Christ.
earlier in the year when it initially broke out of that like 10-cent range. Made a lot of money on Doge just from trading that massive rally and thinking big and then compounding on high time frame trend retests. I made so much money that I was able to just justify holding like a Moon Boy bag just because I had given myself that luxury. And for a long time I was underwater. My entry on that bag average, I mean, I'm still up collectively with all the trades that I had, but I left like 10%, 20% of that bag, at like 16, 17, or 17 cents average, and for months on end underwater, and now it's just absolutely ripping face. And I think that a lot of that was just my curiosity for the markets, and kind of what I'm alluding to. I'll get to it. This will all make sense in a second. My curiosity with markets, like I really just kept that Doge bag because it meant something to me. I wanted to see what Doge would do this cycle. Like I felt still very confident in the bull market thesis, cyclical kind of behavior for crypto. So I could absolutely justify just holding a Doge bag, even if it was underwater, negative 40%, just to see what happens, just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely ripping face, and now I'm in a luxurious position. But that kind of behavior is something that I've given myself gracefully, because the way that I approach these on-chain shitters and things of that nature is like I have my primary state and then I have my secondary state. And primarily, my strengths are being a trend trader on typically what are highly liquid centralized exchange coins. That's really where I'm going to make 80 to 90% of my wealth. But then because I do well in that state and I'm making money in that, aspect of the market, that then allows me to go say, oh, I'm up this much. Oh, okay, here's Doc shilling me, some random bag at $15 million market cap. Why not throw this amount at it and see if it goes to zero or see if it pulls a 10x? And what I've noticed over time is that the amount of money that I'm throwing at these things, like when a friend shills me a bag, or I'm like, oh, this might be a good play, but it also might go to zero. Those degenerate gamble bags are the same size as to what my high conviction plays were 2 years ago. So it's just like I'm compounding my wealth over time, and primarily I'm doing that through my strengths. But then my strengths and thriving in that aspect allows me the luxury to go take, still a proportional amount of meaning in terms of my portfolio overall, but the monetary amount has increased substantially. And it's still just as meaningful to me as what it was like 3 or 4 years ago, when I'd be like, oh, a degenerate gamble bag, okay, let me throw $100 at it, right? Totally different now. So I think that's the name of the game, man. Just compound your wealth over time to the point where your degenerate gamble bags become the same size as your high conviction plays.
Yeah.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. I think that's the way that Pepe started out for me. It was April 2023. That coin launched. I had friends telling me about it at 1 million, at 5 million, at 10 million. I was late to it when it got listed on MEXC. I think it was around 80 million market cap, and that's when I got in. And I really didn't size into it. I was kind of like, oh, I'm up a lot from Q1. I've taken a lot of profits. Let's throw some money at this. So I threw I don't remember exactly what percentage of my portfolio was at the time, but I threw a decent amount of, not decent, small amount of money at it. And that shit went 20x, right? And along that, the conviction started to develop, the idea started to develop of, meme coins do run this market on the risk curve, right? We saw what happened to Doge. We saw what happened to SHIB. It's my viewpoint that Doge and SHIB are kind of whatever memes. Like, I'm never going to share a Doge meme or a SHIB meme to anyone. Like, I don't think they're funny, but, it is what it is. But what do we share all the time? Like in Discords, your threads you put on Pepe's. I use Pepe. The Discords are flooded with Pepe. All the emojis are Pepe. Why wouldn't this one perform well? So when I got the opportunity in that accumulation range over 9 months to size into it, I took that opportunity.
And also, I think that's kind of a testament to, like, you don't have to really use your brain too hard to find good plays or good opportunities, right? Like, it's right there in front of your face. Truly, like, it is still a shame that I didn't catch Pepe on that initial listing, when I am the person who posts a Pepe every other post for the past 4 or 5 years on end.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just absolutely like abysmal for me on my end. Not gonna lie, skill issue.
I
But
think,
but no, still got plenty of opportunity.
yeah, and I think the thing that excites me, and I'll stop talking about Pepe after this, is CT's kind of reluctance to accept the frog. They're looking at 500 other memes when the meme that they've posted every day, the one that's most integral with crypto Twitter culture, the one that we've seen every day, the one that you post all the time, is not the one that they're exposed to. That makes me more bullish as well.
That's fair. Yeah, I kid you not, man. The a really big portion as to why I was so convicted in my thesis is to, like, oh my God, Bitcoin found a higher low at 54K, like it's gonna go to new all-time highs from here, is because I saw the sentiment shift. So it's very it's a dangerous game using sentiment, especially on crypto Twitter, because you curate your feed. So like you're seeing whatever you told your feed, whatever you told the algo that you wanted to see. So it's very dangerous, but I feel as though, after 5 years of being on this app, I do kind of have a little bit of a gauge in terms of like how people think, what people will say next. It's gotten to the point where I'm not just predicting what the market will do, I'm also predicting what people will say after the market will have done it. So like I literally said, hey, we found a higher low in the weekly. I guarantee you people are going to come back. You're going to start seeing people say, "Oh, but we're still, trending lower highs, lower highs, lower highs on the weekly." But go back 3 months prior to that and it was Mercury, we don't care about this lower high in the weekly. You don't even know what market structure is. Like, nobody cares that much about market structure. Like that's not going to be somebody told me at least wait for weekly candle closures below the range before you start doom posting. And this is at 68K in June, right before we go to 54 or whatever. So it's like, oh yeah, here you go. Here's your weekly candle close below the range, bud. It closed at 54K. You flipped bearish at the bottom. So you have to be able to contextualize things. And I'm not gonna lie, this is dangerous for me to say this, but reading and having kind of a gauge for what the sentiment is can be an edge. It can be alpha.
I agree with you, man. I think you know my experience with CT over the years has changed so much. At this point, I just kind of vibe there. I don't really use it as signal too much. There's very few accounts on CT that I think can present an argument that would convince me one way or the other. I think I'm at this point where I trust myself, and I'm not going to get too much out of other people's opinions other than, just there to vibe. And if people agree with me, they agree with me. If they don't, they don't. It is what it is. I'm going to trust myself at this point versus other people's opinions. So I just go on there, I vibe, I share my thoughts, and that's just about it.
100%. It's really the only way that you're going to do well long term, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you have to be able to trust yourself, and if someone else's input is able to shake you out of a position or out of a trade, or make you think twice, even not even shake you to the point where you're executing, but like, I mean, there's some people that I respect and all, but if they come in and say, "Oh, well, I think the market is topped," like that's not going to shake my conviction at all whatsoever, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I am the person that got myself here. I'm proud of what I've been able to accomplish. Like, man, I came from nothing, and now, I'm in a very luxurious kind of position. Nobody took over my mouse and started, pressing the buttons for me. Hasaka didn't do that. GCR didn't do that. You didn't do that. Nobody did that. I did that. So
100%.
I have to be able to take pride in what I've been able to accomplish. And if I keep at this in a consistent manner, then, the market can't hurt me. Honestly, that's how I feel at any given time. If the market exists and I do too, I'm always going to find a way to win.
Yeah, I agree. Should we go through some charts? We've kind of avoided
Absolutely.
all charts. Okay, so let's be honest here, guys. There's not much for me to say on any coin other than if you get a dip into a trend, long that dip. That's really what everything is going to come down to for me at this point. Whether it's Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, or an altcoin, if it's trending, if it broke out of a range, if it's respecting its trends, we're just going to be 2IQ trend retest buyers. And that's really all I'm going to say. So, if you guys have requests that you want us to get to, I think it's just going to be like 5 seconds of analysis for either of us, I promise. But
Yeah.
starting out on Bitcoin, like, this is all I'm looking at. I'm just looking at the 4-hour trend, right? That the 4-hour trend is, for me, the 13, 21, and 34 EMA. Mercury uses different trends, but ultimately the idea is the exact same. The trend that's carrying you into price discovery is the one that needs to be defended. When that trend is lost, you're going to get a much steeper correction into the larger time frame trend. So the trends that I use, the 4-hour trend, the daily trend, when 4-hour trend loss, then retest of daily, or if it's in no man's land, I'm going to do absolutely nothing. I'm not going to be a hero in no man's land. Either it can reclaim or it can go to the daily, and then I'll action again. And that's really all there is to it. Solana, Ethereum, everything. I think the Ethereum one is even simpler because we broke over my level this morning. Let's see. This is where I had it. This is the TP. So if we start holding in above 2350. I think there's a fresh expansion trade from here. We'll just ignore all of this. I wouldn't even want to see it drop back below 2350, and we can just use this level to continue. The reason I use this is the big point of breakdown, the last up candle before this nuke, right? So reclaiming the point of breakdown is very, very solid for me. Region to continue bidding, trend continuation.
Yeah, I'm really not going to have too much to say about these coins that are ripping face, which truthfully should be the coins that you're drawn towards, because the outperformers are probably going to continue outperforming. This is, cyclical behavior, and that is a winning mindset long term that you do want to apply. But until we get pullbacks into local trends, even at this point, like if we're going to use Doge as an example, whatever the local trend is for Doge, so maybe let's say 30-minute 200s, right? And you can see that, like, because I use 200 moving averages, what's happening here is we had a local trend portrayal. It was very clean, it was very beautiful, and then all of a sudden the market's velocity has picked up. So maybe the portrayal needs to change, and we need to find a new way to adapt to that price action. So maybe we want to use 15-minute 200s instead. So now 15-minute 200s are my local trend portrayal. So any pullbacks into 15-minute 200s, right, we can say that that's a justifiable reason to want to get long on that, position. Obviously, you want to tie in context. We're at a major resistance level, so maybe the local trend pullback into this one, maybe we would like to skip out on that and wait for a pullback or a breakdown below this local trend before we want to, start doing business. But if you think and operate in this manner, hey, let's look for, relevant regions, relevant trends to do business at, you can do well in a bull market. Don't think that just because you didn't, accumulate Dogecoin at some point when it was ranging for 4 months, that there's no other opportunities there for you on Dogecoin. And this is not just Dogecoin. This goes for any ticker. Anything that is strong, anything that has had, a volatile breakout of a key level, key trend, reclaim, whatever, right? It's the same kind of concept. So I'm not saying that, oh my God, 15-minute 200s need to hold on Dogecoin, right? And I'm not saying that. But if you think and operate in this manner, you'll probably do fine, because you are at least doing business at the regions where it makes sense to do business at. And then if you're wrong on that, setup or on that take, then that's where you're probably going to get that deeper pullback for Dogecoin into a higher time frame trend portrayal, something like maybe the 2-hour 200s. And then we can use this to represent what's happening on more of like a daily market structure. So you really can't see this daily market structure because there's no pullback. There's no swing high to swing low on that daily. So 2-hour 200s are portraying what the daily market structure is actually doing. So now that we've picked up the velocity, you zoom out to the daily chart and you're like, oh, I can't see, there's no structure here. It's just vertical. Well, it's that way because the velocity is picked up and we're using lower time frame trends instead of giving you these nice comfortable pullbacks into 2-hour 200s to find a higher low on the daily chart, right? So you need to be able to adapt, and that, fits in more ways than one. It's not just like, hey, if the trend is up, then you need to, adapt to being a trend trader to the upside. It's, oh, if we're ranging, you need to adapt and be a range trader now. Like, you also need to be able to switch the time frame and adapt to the volatility of the chart that you're actually trying to trade. So that way you are at least finding these opportunities, and even at very worst, at the very, very least, if you are preying on PREY, I would hope not PRAY, right? We don't want to pray for the market to do something. We want to prey on the market. If you're preying on the market to give you a pullback into 2-hour 200s, at least you have a much more reasonable and level-headed reasoning as to why it's going to do that after the 15-minute 200s have broken. So once this trend has broken down, now we can actually go look to set bids for those 2-hour 200s, because every time that we have gotten a test of those 2-hour 200s, it's been because we lost that local trend first, right? So I always think of price action as a snowball, and you're trying to get yourself to a snowman. So it's the same kind of thing. You knock one domino over, and it allows for the next domino to potentially be knocked over. And if you just think in this probabilistic manner, you can find opportunities literally everywhere. Every single day, there's about 100 setups that I pass up on.
Incredible. Mercury dropping knowledge. That was an entire lesson in trading right there, guys. Like, that's how simple it can be, and it all comes down to discipline and actioning your ideas when they present themselves. and separating the high quality setups from the low quality setups. And that's really all it becomes. Like at the end of the day, once you find something that works for you, it's just the discipline to take the setups when they're there, and not take them when they don't fit your criteria.
I see this question. This is a good question. Merc, do you do the same? You don't care if BTC is at correlated support before you get into an altcoin position? I don't care what BTC is doing. So let me reshape the way that you think about crypto markets, right? You're here for the 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. Yet every single time that an altcoin starts to outperform Bitcoin, we always pertain it back to Bitcoin. That is losing philosophy. If you are here for that crazy volatile movement, Bitcoin's not going to do a 50x this cycle. I'm sorry to, shit on Bitcoin maximalists. It's not going to happen, right? Let's be realistic. So Bitcoin's not going to give you a 50x. So what needs to happen is eventually we're going to see rotations to altcoins, and altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. That's what you're here for. You're here, whether you know it or not, you're here for these altcoins that are going to give you exponential gains, going to give you multiples, not just, hey, Bitcoin moved 50%, from a range high breakout into a 1.618 fib. That's great. You can make a ton of money on that, but especially if you're starting with $1,000, a 50% move is not going to change your life, right? Especially if you're trading spot. So whether you know it or not, you're here for the altcoin expansion, you're here for the price discovery, you're here for the kind of environment where if I would have told you, hey, Doge goes from 0.2 of a penny to 75 cents, you would have looked at me and you're like, so you have way too heavy of a bag of Doge, right? So you're a Telegram community member, so you're delusional, so you're stupid, right? And then not only did Doge do that, it did it in 5 months, right? That's like a 30,000% move in 5 months. So you're here for that. And yet, every single time that that coin starts to outperform Bitcoin, we go, oh, why would I buy this coin that is uptrending into price discovery and pulling back into a higher low, into a beautiful confluent, region where there's support confluence, there's trend confluence, there's market structure, higher highs, higher lows? Because look at what Bitcoin did, right? Bitcoin is trading in a range. Why would I buy this altcoin? It doesn't make any sense. You're being a hypocrite. You just contradicted yourself as the entire point as to why you're here. So relative strength is relative strength. If Bitcoin's doing nothing and this coin is uptrending consistently, new all-time highs, higher lows, right? Trend pullbacks, very clean, whatever, then you need to make sure that you're giving some amount of merit to the fact that that coin is actually showing relative strength to Bitcoin and trade it as such. And as long as you know the difference between what is relative strength and what is just simply higher beta, do not sit here and tell me that because Litecoin is up, let's say 10% today. I don't know what Litecoin's doing. Let's say Litecoin is up 10% today, but Bitcoin is only up 5% today. Oh, Litecoin is clearly an outperformer, right? No, you're absolutely wrong. There's no way in hell that you're going to sit here and convince me that Litecoin is outperforming Bitcoin because it's up 5% or 10%, whereas Bitcoin is only up 5. That's not how that works, right? Look at Litecoin. It's in a 2-year long range. It's not an outperformer. It's just simply higher beta. So know the difference between relative strength and higher beta. As long as you truly know that difference, you can do incredibly well. This is how you find Solana in its infancy. This is how you find INJ in its infancy. This is how you find RNDR. This is how you find more relevant to today. This is how you find, PEPE in its infancy. This is how you find all these outperformers, these coins that are running massively, Doge in its infancy, that kind of stuff. And then they go on and carry through for multi-month long trends and continue to outperform. It's just because you knew the difference between what is relative strength and what is higher beta. And you're able to contextualize that. A lot of the times it just has to do with being rational about it. I'm not going to sit here and call this relative strength just because it's up 20%, whereas Bitcoin might be only up 5, because clearly this is not relative strength. Look at what it's doing.
All right, I was just
This is
talking.
where I pass it back to you.
Yeah, I was just talking. I was talking to chat. I got a little distracted. I didn't actually hear the last 30 seconds of you speaking, so I apologize. I was talking in chat.
No, you're good. This comment says, at this stage, it's literally more profitable just acting like a degenerate. You're going to get absolutely wrecked if you think like that. You're going to get absolutely wrecked. The time to be a degenerate was when Bonk Guy was getting shit on because he had a crazy high conviction thesis on Bonk, right? 2 years ago. That's when it was best to be a degenerate. You do not need to be a degenerate in a raging bull market where Opportunity is every other ticker. It's every other chart. You don't need to be a degenerate. You don't need to mix an extreme market environment with extreme approaches. You don't need leverage to do well in market environments. The issue that every single person, listen to me right now, I'm being as real as I possibly can with all 250 of you watching this, whatever. I have been here since November 2017. I've had the luxury of talking to thousands of crypto traders in that time. I've never once heard somebody say, I didn't make enough from the bull market. I have only ever heard, I didn't keep enough of what I made. That's it. If you prioritize, I am a defensive bull at all times. That does not change just because we're in a hyper bull market. I'm still, my main form of how I'm going to compound my wealth over time is prioritizing defense, knowing when to get the fuck out when, the dust has settled and it's all said and done. That is then going to allow me the luxury to trade the next 50% move on a trend reclaim into even just a lower high, and then that's the macro top and blah blah blah, and we go into recession and zero from there. That's what provides me those luxuries. Don't think that just because the market environment changed, now it's time to be a degenerate. That time was 2 years ago. I hate to break it to you. So you don't need to be a degenerate to do well in bull markets. Lose that mindset, or else you're going to succumb to probably the same fate as literally every other crypto trader I've ever talked to, myself included.
Can I just share a personal little tidbit between my trading in Q4 2023 and so far in Q4 2024? Last year, I was not sleeping. Maybe I was getting 2 hours of sleep at night, and I would take like a 2-hour nap in the day. Very, very poor health habits. I was trading all day. I was clicking a ton of buttons, and I was chopping myself up, trying to overtrade high time frame trends. I was trying to extract more value because I said, this is the go time. This is what I've been waiting for. This is maximum opportunity. Fast forward to this year, through that learning process, I learned a lot through Q4, instantly started applying it to Q1 of this year, Q2 of this year. This whole year has been completely different for me. I'm clicking 1/10 of the buttons, if not even less, 1/20th, and I'm making 10x the money, if not 20x the money.
Exactly.
I'm doing honestly nothing. I've prepared for these moments. I've positioned for these moments. If you guys have been watching my streams all summer, even if you don't want to watch the streams and go back and see all that, just look at the stream titles. Look at the stream title from September, the first to second week of September. I said bottom. After that, I said wall of worry. Right? We talked about all summer how we're soaking the bearish news, how we're ranging, how we're buying range lows and we're defending, how bears are unable to break us down, how we started a brand new, fresh daily market structure uptrend on Bitcoin, how we're reclaiming the weekly trends and the yearly VWAP and the daily trends and the 4-hour trends. And we're just finding new and new reasons to be scared. Now it's the election. People saying if Kamala wins, we're going to zero. Like all of this nonsense. Those are the moments to action and position and be courageous and stick to your plans. And now you really don't have to do anything. You basically, I don't want to say you've won, but you kind of won, right? Now you kind of just do nothing until trends break down and reap the rewards. And your time now is spent between, is there an opportunity out there in the market that's better than the bags that I hold? And that's the only thing you should be actioning is if something comes across and you're able to develop conviction in it, do you have stables? Can you move some of your maybe 5% of your Solana bag over to that? If I think PEPE is going to break out and flip SHIB in 2025, can I add to that thesis later on down the line with some profits? And just let your trades play out, right? There's not too much to do, right? If you want to do trading challenges at this time, yeah, sure, take 10K or, take whatever amount of money, small portion of your money out and put it in a sub account and trade it up, man, and bide your time doing that. But, there's not much to do if you've positioned. If you haven't, like I said at the start of the stream, there's opportunities, man. Like last summer, I was not fully positioned off of the October breakout. I had a bunch of stables, but I was given so many opportunities. Let me pull up Render, right? I always use this example of the trend retest that it gave us both on the daily and the weekly. There's so many opportunities to get into these trades, right? Even if you miss off the lows, like this was a banger for me. I think for Mercury as well, right? This consolidation above prior highs, right? Consolidate above prior highs, hold the daily trend. There's your opportunity, right? We're not breaking down. We're holding the daily. We've taken the lows. We're holding these regions, and look at the markup that you're given, right? So you really haven't missed much. These are just the beginning stages if you're not fully deployed. But if you are fully deployed, there's no reason to be a degenerate, just like Mercury said.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, man, there are more ways to extract a more efficient value from the market because it's in this environment than just, oh, let me start trading with way too much size than I have any business trading with.
You know, the worst thing people do, Merc, is they think that they've missed and they try to catch up by taking even more risk, right? They'll be like, instead of buying spot, I can just 2x lev, right? And you wipe yourself out, man. Like, we're gonna get big pukes on alts. Like, if you could do me a favor, pull up Sui from 2023 December. Look at the volatility in the uptrend. Go all the way to the bottom. Look at that volatility in the uptrend. Look at those pullbacks. Those would wreck you. But the spot buyer or the trend trader is just chilling, and they're capitalizing on a 5x and 10x uptrend, whereas you're destroying yourself trying to trade that, and not accounting for the 20% whipsaws, 30% whipsaws that are coming in those uptrends.
Yeah, I got to do some clout claiming here. This might be the sickest call I've ever had, and it was not actionable in the slightest, but it's still really sick. So if you're a market nerd like me, you can appreciate this. We were trading over here, and I posted a tweet that said the next negative 10% pullback is going to be the greatest liquidation cascade in all of crypto history. And somebody responded to that and was like, did you just say negative 10% and greatest liquidation crypto event in the same sentence? Like, are you stupid? This move was the greatest liquidation event in all of crypto history. Not FTX capitulation, not March USDC DPEG, which is over here, not 2018 breakdown, like below 6K floor, not this, not March 2020. That negative 15% pullback from this high to that low is the greatest liquidation event in crypto history. Maybe that has since changed, right, with more price action that has unfolded. Maybe.
No, I think that still stands.
Up until, yeah, absolutely ridiculous, dude. This is how people think. This is how the market operates. When all of a sudden now it's rainbows and butterflies and dandelions, and it seems like the market cannot even possibly go down. Green candles start to seem permanent. Yeah. Now is become maximally risky. Now you have, you've bitten the forbidden fruit, and whatever you do next, it's just going to be a whipsaw. So, really sick call. But
my bad. I didn't have your screen open for that. If you want to highlight that candle again for them.
This candle.
Yeah, my bad.
This candle is the greatest liquidation event in crypto history.
Whoops, guys. Sorry. They missed the whole thing of you drawing it out because I forgot to swap over. But hopefully you heard that and you can kind of apply it to that candle. That
you heard the spiel. Yeah, you got the idea.
My bad. Too locked in. I was just literally watching your thing. Wasn't looking at OBS. I was. Anyways. Man, I don't even know where to take it from there. Anything else you want to share? Let's go to chat. Maybe someone has questions that we can pivot to.
I mean, I'm happy to keep answering questions.
Yeah, 100%. So someone was been asking about my Solana targets, and it kind of lines up with meme numbers, but honestly, I'm looking for 420. I think that's gonna line up with a pretty solid top. I don't know if we overextend past 500, but if we do, it'll probably front run 1,000. Like, the way that I look at these things is consensus levels in two ways in crypto. You either front run or blow past. If you think something's going to be resistance, we're either going to blow the fuck past it or we're going to front run it pretty hard. I'm thinking about that the same way as like 100K. We might front run 100K and get like a little bit mini liquidation event, and then blow past it. Similar with like $500 Solana, $1,000 Solana. So probably like front run, blow past is the situation I'm looking for. Again, though, with price targets, it's just guesswork, guys. It's complete. Like, we're just gonna be guessing and throwing stuff out the ass. And if we're correct, yeah, great, we'll claim some clout, right? But it means nothing, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're gonna be looking for trend loss, which we explained earlier in the stream. Like, I don't think Mercury and I either thought when we broke 30K that we're going to 73. I certainly didn't. I don't know if you did, Mercury, but I didn't think we were going to 73 when we broke 30. I was like, okay, 40 or something like that, 50. whatever. But 73, no. But when we got up there, like we explained earlier in the stream, there were clear-cut signs of trend loss. There were clear-cut signs of momentum loss, and we ran into the ceiling of certainty. Along an uptrend, you're getting the wall of worry. You're getting constant fear of every pullback. It's fucking over. Every pullback, I'm not bidding this. And all you're getting is perfect retests of trends. You're getting liquidations. You're getting OI, open interest wipes. You're getting funding resets. And we just go again and again and again. There's so much demand and there's worry. And towards the top, you're going to get this ceiling of certainty. I remember, and let me pull up my chart real quick. I tweeted render up in here, and I was like, I'm out. I'm done. My target was like 14, which was based on market caps and comparable market cap valuations to other AI coins and a 1618 fib, which I don't often use. And I look at this and I go, yeah, I've ridden, I've multiplied gains along this trend for so long. I'm seeing Bitcoin starting to get a little bit of momentum loss. I'm out. I'm happy, right? And I got hate for that at this moment. I didn't get hate for that anywhere along this trend. I got honestly like, why are you bidding this? Why are you buying this? It's over. It's over. Up here, it's like, Doc, you're selling the AI leader in a, what were they calling it? An AI bull market with Nvidia going this and that. So you run into the ceiling of certainty where people are unwilling to understand that profit taking is probably a good idea, but along that way you have the wall of worry. And I think, I'm just going to leave it there, but price targets ultimately, they can be helpful, but at the same time, you're just going to have to rely on calling top when you see the signs of a top when they do appear.
Yeah, pretty much. I just rely on trend breakdown. I look for significance.
There you go.
So like in this regard, if I'm using Solana, I was drawing some scribbly lines because you were actually on my chart still. So as you were talking, I started drawing some scribbly lines on Solana. But if I'm using Solana, and the thesis was we're breaking out of, well, at the time we weren't breaking out of, but we're using 4-hour 200s to break out of this range. And even though, that's a breakout, we're still trading in this massive range. But really, the thesis and the way that I can scale this, the same way that we knock over those dominoes for like the Bitcoin chart, we can also do the same thing for Solana too. If we're able to get into this range high at this point in the market environment, at this point in the cycle, that kind of stuff, that kind of feeling, we're able to do that. Why wouldn't we just break out of this, 8-month long range as well? Especially if Bitcoin is able to, and Solana has been outperforming Bitcoin for the good portion of the past 2 years. So I would imagine the outperformers to some degree continue to outperform. Solana is probably going to break out of this range. Once Solana breaks out of an 8-month long range, same concept, same philosophies, everything gets applied, copy paste. Probably just don't want to fight that. Probably just want to target higher. I would imagine we're going to new all-time highs. I'm really not seeing where the next resistance level is in between new all-time highs. So, eyes on fib extensions. With those fib extensions, either we get there or we lose the same trend that made me want to position in the first place. One of those two things has to happen. And as you said, I'm not going to lie to everybody here. I have no issue being transparent. I'm an absolute pansy when it comes to taking risk. My wife wants to go skydiving. I'm not going skydiving. I enjoy the ground way too much, right? Like, that's how I am in my innate nature. So for me to be able to say, no matter what, I win. No matter what, I win. Either Solana continues higher, eventually gets to my TP, or it starts to break down below a high time frame trend. Well, guess what? My entry's right here. It can't hurt me. The market cannot get me. It is not possible. As someone who is typically risk averse, this is what allows me to take comfort in the market, to justify the risk, to allow Solana to continue ripping as my UPNL just gets greater and greater and greater. And I have to continue fighting off the urge to market close at the first sign of green, right? Because my monkey neuron brain, ooh, green, market close, right? I know that I'm targeting a 6-month long rally, triple digit percentage rally, but we're up 10% and I just bought this 4 hours ago. Wow, market close. Yeah, as someone who's risk averse, that is something that I've had to overcome. So the comfort that I've now positioned, or that I've provided myself by positioning in such a matter, in such a way, and also the way that I curated my system is curated in such a way to where it takes advantage of my strengths. I'm incredibly patient, I'm incredibly disciplined, and it kind of weans off my weaknesses. So it's perfectly curated for me. I get to take comfort in markets now. I'm not fearful of the market. I'm not sitting here saying, oh, is my Solana position down today? Oh, should I have taken profit in hindsight? Should I have had a crystal ball to call the Pico top? No, like that's not how I wake up. I don't fear the market anymore. I take comfort in the market. The only reason as to why I don't know where Solana will top out, that fact that I don't know where it's going to top out, and I don't, even at the time I might not know, right? It might be obvious, in hindsight, but at the time I don't know when it's frothy, right? Maybe that's the case. The fact that that is the case is also the fact as to why I was able to position in Solana and make money in the first place. That is why markets exist. So stop fearing the market, find a way to take comfort in it.
Yep. Let me, if you don't mind, Merc, let me pause for a second, give a shout out to the stream sponsor today, since I didn't do that at the top of the stream. It's going to take 2 seconds. So you guys, I told you last week, anytime you guys come to my streams and I get a stream sponsor, I try to bring something to the audience. So last week we gave you guys like free money. That'll be deposited in your account literally tomorrow. So if you signed up last week, check your accounts tomorrow on Blofin. You're literally getting free money depending on how much you deposited. And they're so kind, they're going to extend this an extra week. The link is in the bio. If you guys literally want like a future sign up, and for people that were saying earlier in the stream, you want to be a degenerate, go do this, get some free money, run it up in the account, be a degenerate. So thank you, Blofin, for sponsoring the stream. And once again, if you guys literally just want free money, there's no catch. Just make an account, deposit some cash. They'll give you some cash to trade with. Afterwards, just withdraw your funds, right? No risk to you. It's completely risk-free. But anyways, just bringing you guys some free cash for checking out the stream. And that's it. Thanks, Blofin. The link is in the bio, by the way. Moving on from there, man. Shit. I really don't know what to say, man. I just want to reiterate, like, I'm euphoric. I'm excited. Like, this is what we've been waiting for, man. This is it. This is the Super Bowl. Just don't fuck it up. Be positioned. Be excited. If you guys survived all of these 8 months, be proud of yourselves. If you didn't blow up in this chop range of hell.
Yeah, I would reiterate that. If you're able to extract, and I have people come to me and say, like, I've been, break even for this amount of months. Like, I've been looking for new trades. I've been looking for relative strength. I've been trying to implement, winning strategy, blah, blah, blah. But I have, only been barely, minimally kind of profitable, or I've been break even. If you're able to achieve those kinds of gains in a harder, more difficult market environment, one that is nuanced, right? Hey, we might be uptrending on this time frame, but we're downtrending on this time frame, but we're still sitting in a 5-month long range, right? It's very nuanced. It's very gray. It's not so much black and white. It's not we're in a bull market. It's not we're in a bear market. It's neither of those two. It's the market. And you're extracting, 1R every month, let's say, right? Kind of trivial gains. If you're able to do that in that kind of environment, you should be able to extract crazy wealth when it suddenly, turns into beginner mode and peaceful mode. We were playing Halo on Legendary with all skulls on, and now it's Halo on easy mode. So it's like, it's a different environment, man. If you're able to extract even some kind of yield, even if it doesn't seem satisfactory in that environment, those same philosophies, those same principles are probably drastically more profitable in this kind of environment.
Yep.
Just because of the regime that we're in.
Thoughts,
Trend regime.
thoughts on
trend.
cycle top by inauguration date? I don't think cycle top, but I think there could be a sell the news around that time. The narrative that's driving current momentum is Trump is bullish for crypto. Trump presidency opens doors for crypto. That's why we're rallying. Very similar to the ETF last year, right? It's almost like a very strong parallel to, we're rallying into the ETF going live, right? We're all thinking the ETF flows are going to be extremely bullish for crypto. When we get ETF flows, we're going to go ham. The ETFs went live. Excuse that alert. The ETFs went live. We got a sell the news event, and then we continued. But once again, we're just focusing on high time frame trends. So until the trends break, I'm going to continue to be bullish, even if there's a sell the news event on that day of the inauguration, or maybe going into the inauguration, right? I will be probably risk off going into that, especially if my accounts run up tremendously and I'm seeing momentum loss, and I'm seeing trends break down, and I'm seeing failure to expand, right? We spent so long consolidating here on Bitcoin underneath 44K. We got the expansion on the ETF going live day. We failed to hold that expansion. We dropped back into the composite that we built up. There's no reason to do so. If you're building up momentum and you break out and that breakout fails, that's a very risk-off signal, right? We've gotten this type of Mercury. I think you had a tweet about this before too, right? You had one of these where Bitcoin loves to do this kind of fuck you move to put in really strong local tops. So we got that kind of a move. Basically, the idea is build value, expand from value. You should not drop back into value. Combine this with a sell the news type of event. If that happens around inauguration, we'll probably action that then. But if we start holding weekly trends, I'm going to be bullish once again. I'm going to be at least bull curious at these lows, and I'll be adding exposure back if we start getting really significant trend reclaims. So that's how I'll play that. I'm not going to be predicting that that'll be a cycle top.
I think that, because we're talking about the breakout of an 8-month long range, I think that maybe January is a good place to pause that momentum. So like if you look at the last bull market cycle, it's not that, we just went straight to the 64K kind of like range, that all-time high top. It's that we had a pretty expansive kind of shakeout prior to that. So, this is a negative, 35% pullback from high to low. And, we draw that out in terms of days, and that encompasses a whole month, right? So it was several months of up only, and then followed by a month of like this downward slanted, maybe like more consolidative kind of structure. And then from there, that breakout then leads to another multi-month long rally. So like, there's gonna be ample opportunities, man. I don't really have like a set in stone, like this is my plan, this is what's gonna happen. I'm just adaptive, and I get to allow myself to be comfortable in my ability to adapt. I always say that as a trader, you are only ever as good as your ability to adapt. So if you're saying, hey, this is a downtrend, you need to be able to tell me that, you know what, that's actually an uptrend now. We're breaking out, we're reclaiming that level. So, if you're a gigabull here, you need to be able to adjust and say, oh, this might be more significant than these other times, right? And look for a breakdown. And then if we're assuming that this is a trend breakdown, and it is, it's negative 20, negative 25%, but then we start to chop up sideways, well, for these 2 weeks, you need to be able to adapt to sideways. You need to be able to stop using trend analysis, per that time frame, and call it for what it is. It's a range, it's chop, and then adapt to that thereafter as well. If you're calling it chop, you need to know that that's a breakdown thereafter. So as long as you can adapt, you will always be okay. If you were able to adapt in a nuanced, choppy, contextual, bullshit kind of environment where we're ranging on this time frame, we're uptrending on this one, we're downtrending on this one, and this is what the high time frame, environment looks, and whatever. If you're able to do that in that kind of market environment, it should be a lot more straightforward in a very trendy regime. You lose a local trend, you might pull back into the next one. You lose that one, you might pull back into the next one too. You lose that, then maybe it's over at that point. Maybe you're not buying dips anymore. Maybe now it's a downtrend and you should call it for what it is, right? And there you go. And then now you have a way of adapting. And this is how you don't get caught, being overexposed at the highs. You position, you took that courage when it wasn't as clear, when it wasn't as abundantly clear that, hey, we're entering a raging bull market. And then all of a sudden we exit that raging bull market, and you have now given yourself the grace to want to actually go and execute on those thoughts fluidly, without bias coming in, without the inevitable, oh, but my current net worth isn't what my new all-time high net worth was. It's never going to be, right? You're always going to be negative 10, negative 20% off of whatever that most previous new all-time high net worth was. So you allow yourself the grace to execute fluidly when you have a very solid foundation as to how you entered that trade in the first place, and how you'll be able to adapt and manage that trade thereafter.
Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts on Coinbase being the #1 app in the App Store signal? I think that's a very solid signal. I think it has a high hit rate. This cycle, you'll probably see other apps in that conversation as well, like Phantom Wallet and even Moonshot. I honestly, I don't know if you guys have used Moonshot or heard about it, but I mean, I have no affiliation with them. I'm bullish on Moonshot because it's the easiest like normie onboarding process to buying shit coins, and everyone's interested in buying meme coins and Solana meme coins, and you download it on the App Store, you hook it up to Apple Pay, you're trading in like 2 seconds, and it has like that Robinhood esque type of feel. I think that's going to be a really high trending app in the App Store towards the peak of the bull market. So that's another signal to look out for, in addition to Coinbase and Phantom.
Yeah, I would see that signal is kind of a bit diluted at this point because we had so much retail onboarding in the last cycle. So I don't know that Coinbase will hit like number one in the App Store. Maybe it getting into like number 10 or number 5 is good enough to signalize kind of frothiness. But here's the thing, man. Be very careful when you're gauging sentiment, especially to the upside. There's a very basic rule when it comes to markets. We've never had a black swan event when everyone is calling for a black swan event. That's not how that works. In order for it to be a black swan, nobody will have been able to see it coming. That's the entire premise of a black swan. So if everyone's calling for a black swan event, it might be a fade signal. But every single time we've entered a raging bull market, everyone and their grandmothers is sitting there calling for a raging bull market. So you have to, like, now you're talking about what is not just extreme, what is the extremist of the extremes? Now you're venturing way further out. Like, you're being very much, it's all semantics at that point. How do you know the difference between the frothiness at 100K between the frothiness at 150K? Likelihood is you don't, right? So probably more than likely you're going to be overcomplicating it and fading a raging bull market, which, oh my God, funding is incredibly high in a raging bull market. Wow, this must be a counter trade signal. No, you idiot. It's almost as though the green candles are every other day and everyone wants to be long in a raging bull market. So, like, yeah, it makes sense that funding would be incredibly high. So now you're talking about, like, if we're going to go put on funding indicator, this is just an example. It's not that I actually care about funding this much, but how are you going to be able to dictate to me as to why this funding is extreme? Well, it's kind of weird in the way that it's being shown. As to why this funding is extreme here, but it's not extreme. Whoops. Why is this? It's extreme here, but it's even more extreme here, but it's even more extreme there, but it's even more extreme there, but it's even more extreme there. So in hindsight, this was the extremity, right? But look at what happened prior. So, oh, this was extreme relative to that. This was extreme relative to that. This was extreme relative to that. This is what happened meanwhile. So how do you know what is the extreme of the extremes? You don't. You probably don't. It makes sense that an extreme environment is going to be extreme. It makes sense that people are going to be very euphoric. It makes sense that, I think, really the greatest indication, like you said, Doc, is going to be what doesn't happen. When we have every reason to continue higher and we fail to. When that momentum weans off.
Yep.
Last cycle, it was the Coinbase IPO, was this literal top. Coinbase IPOing on the stock market was the literal top for the entire crypto market. Why didn't we go higher? It made so much sense for us to continue higher. Like, was it because of a bear div? No, because there's a bear div here too. There's a bear div there too. There's a bear div here. There's a bear div there. There's a bear. It's all bear divs. So how do you know when that's the bear div that actually breaks us down? You don't. So to me, the greatest signal, the greatest indication is going to be what doesn't happen. We have every reason to continue higher. And for some reason, the market just can't.
Agreed, man. That's the actioning the tea leaves kind of stuff that I talk about. You don't want to do that often. You just want to do that at extremities. Everyone's going to be bullish in an uptrend. You can't just fade. Oh, it's going up, it's topped. People are bullish, it's topped. This counter signal has now flipped bullish, it's topped, right? Anyone who's on CT that's been bear posting a lot, they're going to flip bullish and people are going to be like, oh my God, it's time to fade them. Oh, Capo's bullish now, it's time to fade him, right?
Yeah.
Try to have a more structural approach than that. Like, there's going to be top signal after top signal after top signal. It's going to take a little bit more to try to call top. So What's funny is like a lot of you guys, how many questions have we gotten today, Mercury, about tops? Like, I feel like we've answered a bunch of them. Where is Bitcoin
It's
going to,
everyone's, it's the inevitable fear. It's the inevitable
yeah,
fear that you're going to have in the market. No matter how you are positioned, you are always going to have a fear. If you are exposed to the market, your fear is that the market is topped and you're the idiot that bought the top. If you are not exposed to the market, your fear is that the market goes higher without you. If you are short on the market, your fear is that the market goes higher. So like no matter what you're doing, long, short, sidelined, it doesn't matter. You're going to have something to fear. Stop playing into your fears. Find something that you can take comfort in. You have to be able to take comfort in risk.
yeah, agreed. But the one signal is, when we do get to inevitable top, it'll be the ceiling of certainty. People will not be able to fathom that the market will go down. They'll be ultra confident that we have to go higher. They won't be willing to listen to the voice of reason telling you, hey, trends have been lost. Like Mercury is going to tell you, boys, I sold. Trends have been lost. Like he's gonna say that to
Like
you,
I
and
always have.
and
Like I
he's gonna get a
always
lot of
have.
he's gonna get a lot of shit for it, and he's gonna be
Yeah.
fucking clowning on you guys for shitting on him 3 weeks later when he's right. So just pay attention to those. Like we're not telling you right now that the market's topped, but when we inevitably do and get shit for it, that's probably the top.
At least for a little while.
Yeah.
Even if not the macro top, it might give us, negative 20% pullback, something along those lines.
Yeah, 100%. New all-time high. Yeah, we're watching that. Someone's top blasting. The flows have been phenomenal. I think last week we had $1 billion inflow day. The day Trump got elected. I think the first 15 minutes of IBIT trading was $1 billion in trading volume. So you don't want to fade these things. We've got a Coinbase premium. You've got insane spot flows. Ethereum spot flows are at all-time highs. The GBTC selling is not, affecting Ethereum at this moment. Things are going up. You're breaking out of 8 months of range. Now's not the time to be looking for top signals, in my opinion. Like everyone's screaming at you higher. Now's the time to kind of turn your brain off and just allow things to happen. We've said it like 50 times today, but that's really the core lesson here is like, you really don't have to do much.
Yeah, we've said it 50 times and we can't say it enough.
Yeah.
The way that I put it, to say the exact same thing but spun around in a funnier way, hopefully people think I'm funny. I said that we're so bullish right now that Ethereum looks good and it's not a counter trade signal. That's how bullish we are. Ethereum actually looks good. It looks strong. And to my credit, since then, Ethereum is up 15%. So, that's how bullish we are, guys. Like, and then if you want me to just add even more hopium to you, if all the fuel and hopium that we haven't or we've added thus far isn't enough, think about what happens when ETH is actually finally able to sustain a rally in terms of outperformance against BTC. What people tend to overlook is like the BTC-led rally is cool and all because, obviously it drags other things along with it. The rising tide kind of lifts all boats to some degree, some more than others. There's always going to be pockets of outperformance. Right now it's largely like meme coins and stuff, or Solana or things of that nature, Sui. So there's always going to be pockets of outperformance, but really the craziness, the alt season, everyone's a genius season, is when ETH is finally able to show some life against BTC. And at the moment, this is still what the ETH BTC chart looks like. Wait, as soon as my moving averages load, where are they? Come on. There we go. This is what the ETH BTC chart looks like. So, like, dude, we're not even at the pinnacle of opportunities in front of your face yet. It's not even everyone's a genius season, just throw a blind dart and you'll probably hit a bullseye kind of season. Like, it's not even that kind of environment yet. And think about all that has happened just in the past few weeks. So,
let me add on to
is fucking abundant.
Let me add on to what you're saying and break this down a little bit further. When it comes to ETH BTC, people are saying that this thing's never going to go up, and I like Ansem, but he doesn't believe that we need ETH to rally in order for that altcoin mania Bitcoin dominance breakdown. But I think it's just simple math. The biggest counterparty to Bitcoin dominance is Ethereum. It has the largest market cap. If Ethereum gets sustained performance against Bitcoin, if we start reclaiming 50, if we, your moving averages look much cleaner than mine on the ETH BTC chart, but if we start reclaiming the high time frame downtrend, and that is going to put immense pressure on Bitcoin dominance. If you want the 2001 style alt season, the mania, the froth, the everything going up 40% a day for 2-3 weeks in a row, that's going to come from an ETH-led rally. Whether you guys like it or not, it's not going to be coming from Solana. Solana is just simply not big enough of a market cap, and it's been destroying Bitcoin this entire cycle. It's been gaining on Bitcoin. It will probably continue to outperform Bitcoin. It's going to put in probably new all-time highs against Bitcoin. But when Ethereum reclaims, when ETH BTC breaks that downtrend, bro, that's going to hurt Bitcoin dominance, and that's going to break this trend that we've had on Bitcoin dominance since the FTX lows. And that's going to give you your alt season. And whether you like it or not,
Exactly.
ETH is a core part of it. So it's going to be funny to see. And when that moment comes and ETH is outperforming Bitcoin and ETH BTC is up and ETH is in price discovery and all these things are happening, you guys are not going to be at that moment. No one's going to be asking us, Merc, Doc, what's the cycle top? You guys are going to be too euphoric to be thinking about that at that moment.
Exactly. I've seen the argument, man. I've seen the argument for, Ethereum is Yahoo, and eventually it's going to fade out. And it was here, first, but it's not going to be here anymore because something else came and did better, right? Google. I see that argument. I don't believe it though, because it's still the king of altcoins. It's still number 2 until it isn't. And like you said, the very simple fact of the matter is, for the past 2 years, Solana has been outperforming BTC. And just 2 or 3 months ago, I had to listen to people complain that the market sucked, that the bull market was not actually a bull market. It was the worst bull market ever. It was underwhelming. People came in, people that have been here since 2016 came and said crypto failed as an industry. In August, dude, in September. Like, why did they say that? Because it wasn't everyone's a genius season. It wasn't, oh, you are holding this altcoin from 2017? Okay, cool. It's back at new all-time highs. It wasn't that. It was, if you didn't get in on this coin, this coin, this coin, this coin, this coin, this coin, or this coin, you didn't do well. So it was very much PvP. It hasn't been PvE. It hasn't been easy mode. It hasn't been, just long your longs, turn your brain off. Not truly, not to the scale of which we truly think about when we think about crypto alt season, that kind of, pinnacle of the extremity of a bull market. So in the past 2 years, what hasn't happened? What are 2 things that are correlated that haven't happened? We haven't seen altcoins just go berserk generally to the point where 99% of the time you're going to be able to throw a blind dart and hit a bullseye. We also have not seen in the past 2 years a sustained rally of outperformance on the king of altcoins, Ethereum, against Bitcoin. So when that happens, that is probably the greatest proxy for the craziness just got even crazier.
I agree, man. We haven't seen nothing yet.
2025 is going to be crazier than 2021.
Dude, I've been thinking that. I haven't been saying it loudly, but I've been thinking it a little bit, man. This is the biggest crypto narrative that crypto has ever had in its lifespan.
In June 2023, we were sitting in a 7-month-long range, and then PEPE existed, right? And PEPE got created. And then PEPE comes into the market, obviously starts at $0 market cap, whatever, and runs to $1 billion in the span of 2 weeks. It ran to $1 billion with the greatest speed of any coin, anything that has ever existed, ever. 2 weeks is how long it took. Since then, we have had several meme coins run to $1 billion market cap since existence in a shorter amount of time.
Yep.
And people are sitting here saying, oh, you missed out because you didn't trade the last bull market. Like, that was your last opportunity to trade a market cycle. It's pathetic. Like, it's pathetic. Like, you've forgotten how to dream. Like, honestly, yep. Man, think about it. Think about it. All the opportunities that have came and went, some of which you've captured, some of which you fumbled, some of which, you caught, have passed you by. Whiff is just one example, right? Just from the whiff narrative, that kickstarted another wave of other meme coins that then ran to, $1 billion valuation. So, like, dude, it's gonna get fucking crazy. That's how I'm thinking about this. Anything else is incredibly underwhelming. I'm shooting for the absolute, stars. So like wherever I land, dude, it's gonna be even at this point, I'm still satisfied. If this is the pinnacle of what we've gotten, it's gonna be incredibly underwhelming. Yet I would still make out, you know, great. You just have to think much much bigger. Honestly, don't give yourself this short-sightedness. It's just like a shame.
Yeah. I think we should wrap it up there. I think those are good thoughts to end on, man. We've been going for 2 hours. It's crazy that whenever I speak to another trader, time fucking flies. Like I can't believe we've been talking for 2 hours already. But any
Yeah.
other closing thoughts you have, Merc? Feel free.
Not much, man.
I
I
appreciate you.
appreciate
Yeah,
you bringing
appreciate
me
you,
on
man.
here.
I love speaking with you, man. We always say that we should do this more often, and we get
All right.
together every few months. We should get together more often, man.
Yeah, we had a nice little thing going there. We were on a roll for a while there.
I
Kind of stopped.
I like that. I like that at least we got to share the breakout stream together back to back years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll make that the new
Yep,
tradition. Every time there's a new Bitcoin
the new
all-time high
tradition.
or a breakout of a range, you expect a Doc Merc crossover stream.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, man.
Next time on my channel, man.
What's that?
I have to have next time on my channel. I have to have you on.
Oh, 100%.
I haven't
Anytime.
made a video in a long time, but yeah.
There's a
Anyone
Tau
who
TP.
is not new who I am, I do have a whole like educational playlist on YouTube. It's like hours and hours and hours worth of dozens of hours worth of content, and it goes very in depth on my entire system. I also have a free Discord group if you guys want to come hang. I post daily updates on there in the market, so you can see me go from bullish to bearish, bullish to bearish, bullish to bearish, ranging to bearish, ranging to bullish, whatever, throughout like the past year and a half, and that's seemed to be very good content for people to use as study material because I was posting that in real time, not knowing what would happen next, and then people get to come in and kind of use hindsight to their benefit to see what was he saying at this time, how did he think about that, and then what actually happened. So it's all free. It's all free. I do have a private group too. I don't know if I was supposed to show that or not
Yeah,
in
I
the
don't care.
Paragon,
Go for it, bro. I was about
but
to tell him about the
uh,
Paragon discounts.
yeah, I do have a private group too, but that has nothing to do with the Discord. It's a totally separate thing. So you're just looking for something free content, then come hang in my Discord.
100%. And then I'll wrap it up here, guys. We finally got it for you. Ask me every stream when Paragon discounts, when Paragon discounts. Well, today, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we celebrated the 3-year anniversary since Magus and Charlie built Paragon. And as you guys know, I've been the third member pretty much this entire year. So the Paragon discounts are out. They're going to be out until the end of the month. So you guys got 3 weeks to lock it in. Check the description box below. We have them for, several different time frames, but they're out. The link will be in the description below. Check them out. If you guys want to come hang with us or hang with Mercury, feel free. And we will catch you next time. Thanks, Merc.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.